Training a Pokemon to level 100 can take quite a long time. You either need to spend a jillion years battling with it, or feed it zillions of candies. But you can catch a wild max level Magikarp in several different Pokemon games. So what's up fellas, I'm Matt, and that's what Elias and I are going to talk about today. We'll go over how these encounters work, the odds of actually finding a max level Magikarp, and how they compare to other unlikely events. Alright, let's get started.
What's up, I'm Elias, and Pokemon Platinum is the first game with level 100 Magikarp in the wild. The resort area is a post-game location in Sinnoh, and it includes a pond you can fish in. In Diamond and Pearl, you can find a handful of different Pokemon here, namely Magikarp, Gyarados, Goldeen, and Seaking. But in Pokemon Platinum, Magikarp is the only Pokemon available in the pond. That's actually quite ominous.
What do you mean?
What happened to all the other Pokemon?
It's a different body of water. The resort areas have completely different maps in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum.
But in Pokemon Platinum, Magikarp is the only Pokemon available in the pond. But it's a different pond, according to Matt.
The levels of Magikarp you'll find depend on which fishing rod you use. If you pick the old rod, the Magikarp will range from level 3 to 15. But you know where else I can find level 3 to 15 Magikarp? Basically everywhere else in the world. The good rod will give you level 10 to 35 fish, and the super rod can fish up Magikarp of any level. But thanks to how the encounter table is structured, some levels are much rarer than others.
Let's pull up that encounter table, shall we? The resort area actually features 5 different Magikarp encounters, and each one has a different level range. You have an 80% chance to get one of the 2 most common encounters. One ranges from level 40 to 60, and the other ranges from 30 to 70. So here in this pond, a level 75 Magikarp is rarer than a level 51.
That's a weird word, rarer. The rarest encounter appears at a rate of 1%, and that's the one that can be any level. If you get this encounter, each level is equally likely to appear, so the odds of getting a level 100 fish at this point are also 1%. So whenever you find a Magikarp with your Super Rod, the chance of it being the max level is 1 in 10,000. That makes a level 100 Carp one of the rarest Pokemon in the game.
That being said, there are several levels that are equally rare. If you're using the Super Rod, the 1% encounter is the only way to find a Magikarp with a single-digit level, and the same goes for levels 91 to 99. The level 100 Magikarp is the one you'll hear about the most, but levels like 3 and 92 are just as unlikely.
As you may have noticed, 1 in 10,000 is less likely than finding a shiny Pokemon. In Platinum, the base shiny odds are 1 in 8,192. Both of those chances are in the same ballpark, but it's very possible that if you go hunting for a level 100 Magikarp, you wind up finding a shiny one first. MEPlaysGames fact, by the way, I found 2 1 in 8192 shinies in my life, and both of them were Pidgey and Fire Red. Hey Elias, have you found any 8,192 shinies?
Yeah, I think I found 3. I think 2 were Zubat, and 1 was a Tentacool.
That may be the most Pokemon thing I've ever heard.
I know, right? Another rare event in the Pokemon games is Pokerus. This mechanic can be found in Gens 2 through 8, and it doubles the EVs you earn from battling Pokemon. If you knock out a Chandelure, it'll normally give out 3 special attack EVs, but if the Pokemon you're using has Pokerus, Chandelure will give you 6 EVs instead.
Each time you complete a battle, the odds of getting Pokerus on one of your Pokemon is 3 in 65,536, which is about 1 in 22,000. Unlike shinies, you can't increase your odds of finding Pokerus. Once you have it in your save file though, the other Pokemon in your party will catch it. So finding Pokerus in the first place is hard, more so than a level 100 Magikarp, but spreading the virus around is really easy.
I think I have Pokemon with Pokerus.
I have Pokerus in my sword, I believe.
Pokemon Black and White 2 feature level 100 Magikarp as well. This time, the Super Rod is the only fishing rod in the game, and you can use it to fish up Magikarp in the nature preserve. If you're fishing normally, you have a 40% chance to find a Basculin, and a 60% chance to find a Magikarp. Most of the time, it'll range from level 40 to 70, but once again, there's a 1% encounter that can be any level. So the chance of finding a level 100 Carp are 1 in 10,000 once again.
But that's not all, folks. You can also find level 100 Gyarados here. If you fish in a rippling water tile, you have a chance to encounter wild Gyarados. Like its nephew Magikarp, these fellas can be any level. Each time you fish in rippling water, the odds of getting a level 100 Gyarados are also 1 in 10,000. But rippling water takes longer than standard fishing, which effectively makes a max level Gyarados even rarer. There I go with that word again.
There's one last place where you can find level 100 Magikarp, and it's in Scarlet and Violet's DLC. Fellhorn Gorge is a location in the Kitakami region, and it includes a pond that's full of wild Magikarp. Their levels depend on whether you've beaten the main story in Paldea first. If you've beaten Al Totoro, If you've beaten AI Turo or Sada in Area 0, you can find level 100 Magikarp here as well.
This time, the odds of finding a max level Carp are much higher, now clocking in at 1 in 37. A handful of YouTubers took that to the next level as well, and hunted a shiny level 100 Magikarp here. The base shiny odds were doubled in Gen 6, so now they're 1 in 4096. So each Magikarp has a 1 in 151,552 chance to be both shiny and level 100, assuming you don't modify your shiny odds. MEPlaysGames fact, I found a handful of 1 in 4096 shinies. I found Cubchoo and Paldean Tauros while playing through Violet, and I found Ekans and Mudbray in Gen 7 while recording B-roll for our videos.
Isn't the Paldean Tauros shiny the same?
The difference is the body is darker on the shiny.
So they inverted the colors.
I couldn't tell the difference. The only reason I found out it was shiny at all was because I accidentally ran into a battle with it.
We posted a short about level 100 Magikarp a little while ago, and some of the comments were wondering about abilities that modify wild Pokemon's levels. Pressure, Vital Spirit, and Hustle all have an unusual out-of-battle effect. If you lead with a Pokemon that has one of those abilities, wild Pokemon will be forced to spawn at the highest level 50% of the time.
As an example, Route 8 in Alola includes Wild Dialga.
Barely audible incorrect buzzer.
I mean Fletchinder. These guys range from level 17 to 20, and each level is equally likely. But if your lead Pokemon has Pressure, Vital Spirit, or Hustle, each bird has a 62.5% chance to be level 20. The abilities force a level 20 Fletchinder half the time, but it also still has a chance to be the highest possible level naturally.
But there are a few things to note about these abilities. First off, they only work while fishing in a few games, namely Emerald, BDSP, and all the Gen 4 games. So they can boost your odds of finding a level 100 Magikarp in Platinum, but not in Black and White too. Most of the time, they just affect other types of encounters like grass, caves, and surfing. These abilities also have no effect on wild encounters in Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet. So Pressure also doesn't change your odds in Fellhorn Gorge.
Pressure and company do increase your level 100 Carp odds in Platinum, but said odds are still pretty slim. Since they force the highest possible level half the time, you might expect your odds to be roughly 1 in 2, but it doesn't quite work like that, and the reason why brings us back to the encounter table. Is this better or worse than Taurus's puke green shiny?
I mean, it looks cool because Paldean Tauros looks cool, but it doesn't look as cool as normal Paldean Tauros. But I don't think it's as bad as puke green Tauros. The game generates an encounter, then decides whether Hustle, Pressure, or Vital Spirit activate. These abilities can force 5 different Magikarp levels, since each encounter has a different level range. Usually, you'll get a level 60 or 70 Carp with this method, since those are the maximum levels for the 2 most common encounters. You only have a 1 in 100 chance to get the encounter that can be any level, so your odds of getting a level 100 Carp using Pressure are roughly 1 in 200. To be more precise, the exact chance is 101 in 20,000. Since you can still get the max level fish without the abilities activating.
Don't you just love math?
No, I don't like math.
Oh, MEPlaysGames fact, we were both on a math team together in middle school.
That's where he kidnapped me and is now holding me in his basement.
With this information in mind though, let's take things to the extreme. What's the rarest Magikarp you can get your hands on, assuming you don't use any tools to modify your odds? Well, if we head back to the nature preserve, we can get a natural level 100 fish at a rate of 1 in 10,000. Obviously, we'll also want it to be shiny, which is a 1 in 8192 chance on top of that. Yeah, Elias trapped me in his basement because I suck at piano. I've just been sitting here practicing scales for the last 10 years.
And he hasn't gotten any better.
But, Elias, can you play an F-sharp Mixolydian scale across 4 octaves blindfolded?
No. You know what? I want to double my gains, so we're also going to take some steroids.
Extremely loud, incorrect buzzer.
We're also going to want this Magikarp to give us Pokerus. The exact odds of that happening are 3 in 65,536. We'll also want it to naturally have the perfect stat spread. IVs can have 32 possible values, ranging from 0 to 31. So the chance of getting perfect IVs is 1 in 32 to the 6th power, or 1,073,741,824.
There's also a 1 in 25 chance to get the nature you want, so let's say you want an Adamant Magikarp. You know, for all the great physical moves it can learn. When you put it all together, the odds of finding a level 100 shiny Magikarp with perfect IVs and your preferred nature are 1 in... oh boy. 48 sextillion, 38 quintillion, 396 quadrillion, that's spelled wrong, hold on, 25 trillion, 285 billion, 290 million, 666,667.
If you've ever caught one of these, leave a comment below.
I'm gonna hazard a guess and say nobody
evidence.
in the world has ever done that.
If we approximate that number in scientific notation, it would look like this. You might also see it written this way with a lowercase e instead of 10 10 raised to a power. These are the kinds of numbers I can only dream of reaching in Balatro. Anyway, let's put this number into perspective, shall we?
There are roughly 8 billion people alive today. If we gave a DS to everybody in the world and they all caught 8 billion Magikarp apiece, we probably wouldn't be close to finding our perfect fish. 8 billion squared is 64 quintillion, which isn't even 1% of that gargantuan 48 sextillion number. So if you want to take on this insane shiny hunt, don't.
If you want to take on this shiny hunt, do it. We'll reward you handsomely with $5 US. If you've beaten Altutoro, I've met him before.
What? Altutoro is not a person.
Oh, which one's the actor?
I think
John?
You're thinking of John Turturro.
John Turturro. I've met him.
Altutoro is nobody. When we made our video about illegal moves, you said Altutoro instead of AI Turo. That's the joke here. What is the highest score you've reached in Balatro?
I've never hit E.
You hit E on the 10 of spades seed,
Oh,
though.
okay. Well, that's cheating.
The best I've done in an unseeded run was, I think it was literally like 1.4 E11. Here in Diamond and Pearl, the pond is over on the right, but then in Platinum, for whatever reason, they just completely redesigned the entire thing. Now the pond is on the left.
Oh.
Good news, everyone! During the production of this video, I reached 3.2 E23 in Balatro, which is over 300 sextillion. Anyway, that's all we got for today. Leave a comment about Dubwool. Subscribe to the channel if you've been enjoying our videos, and consider becoming a channel member. It costs as little as 99 cents a month, and you'll get to see bonus content like deleted scenes. You'll also be able to watch every long-form video early. Shoutouts to our newest channel member, Unknown. Hey, I know that guy. We'll see you all next time. Good night, fellas. Sleep well.